This show is for entertainment purposes only, and you must be 18 years or over to access our voice message system. Welcome to AAY. Steve's having a well-deserved break tonight, a night off, and he'll be back with us again next week. Tonight, I'd like to introduce you to our beautiful two ladies here. We've got Sheila Vijerayasa and we have Rebecca Fisher. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Viv.
Thanks. We're going to have a great night tonight, aren't we?
We're going to have a fun night.
Absolutely. Yeah. Intimate night, three girls, good little lounge room chat in a big studio. So what have you been up to, Sheila? I haven't seen you for a little while.
I know, I've been really busy. I've been doing a lot of readings for clients.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love connecting with clients on a one-on-one basis. But to be honest, I've also been very much in the world. So I'm managing a couple of big projects in my finance job, a finance director. And for those people out there on their spiritual path and are still kind of making the transition completely into spiritual work, I'm being tested to really be present and do self-care and really be committed to my spiritual work, but being in the world. So it's been a really busy time. It's been really exciting.
So busy time-wise, but have you also found that it's a little bit of a, you know, going from one side of the fence to the other, going left brain or right brain, or just sort of manoeuvring from one type of work to another is a challenge, or is it more just that you've got so much on your plate?
I've got a lot on my plate, but I've got to say I've been more of a spiritual person at work than ever before, because you get more tested, and you know, you're deep in your meditation practice, and you find that I have to turn up to work and really, I think, hold space for what we're going through as a team during this project. So I know it's a bit of an interesting way to begin the project talking about finance and work, but a lot of us wake up and have this life we lead, and we are spiritual beings, you know, in the world having this human experience, and we really want to connect in with Reiki and crystals and whatever we're connected to.
Yeah.
But we've also got to do this job or take care of the kids or cook lunch. And when the stress the pressure builds, we've got to find a way to even more so connecting with our spirituality. So you've asked me what I've been up to. That's kind of what I've been up to.
Sometimes the most spiritual things you can do is just in your daily practice, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
Feeding the dog, taking out the litter
very
tray,
much so.
you know, and making that part of the practice. But I'm always interested to find out, like, as a makeup artist over the years, I've found it particularly easy to incorporate my interest in astrology or numerology, because often I find people that are in the chair, they're really interested in stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in a corporate world, do you find that there's an interest and that you're able to talk on that level with some of your clients, or is it more just keeping the two separate?
It's interesting you say that. I tend to keep them separate, and I do a gentle invitation to a topic. Okay. So I might talk about intuition, and then I'll read into whether or not that person's open through line of questioning. If they are, then I think, okay, let's take this further. And if they're not, I stay on topic of whatever we're talking about. I think if people definitely, if they're interested, you find they'll come towards you, and the topic will open up, and you'll find yourself, you'll be in the corner of a room just talking for you know, long periods of time about this. Because when people are passionate about it and they know that they've found a kindred spirit, the conversation flows really easily.
Yeah, and at the basis of all good decisions is often all good intuition.
Exactly.
I mean, some of the best
Trusting
decisions
your
I've ever
intuition.
made have been on that first gut feeling. And that's business too, business decisions.
Exactly.
And you, my young lady, have got a wonderful meditation workshop coming up. Now, that's on the 30th of this month.
Yes, it is. The 30th of August.
6 weeks?
6 weeks meditation course,
At
yes.
Freshwater Meditation.
Freshwater Massage and Bowen Centre,
Right.
and that's at Freshwater.
At Freshwater, right round the corner from
Right
me.
round the corner.
Oh,
Yeah, you can come.
really, really close. I have to admit something. I booked online just before I went overseas to do a 1-month meditation course. I paid for it up front. It was in Manly. I wonder if it was actually yours. And I missed the first week, and then I was too embarrassed to go to the other 3. So I paid the $100 and I didn't go to any of my meditation classes. I feel like such a sook. But anyway.
No. Oh, goodness. I remember back in the day going to, you know, because I've been meditating since I was 19, so it's about 27 years now. I've been practicing meditation and spiritual awareness, so, you know, as a daily practice. But a few of the meditation teachers back in the day they'd lock the door if you were late. So you weren't allowed to go in. It was so strict.
I've got a yoga teacher like that.
Whereas, you know, I'm certainly not like that. But yeah, you weren't allowed in. That was it. If you were late, that's it. Door shut.
My yoga teacher, Simone, she is the best. Like, she is brilliant. But I remember I was late one day. It wasn't that long ago, and I walked up to the glass door, and she just went, Okay, I'm on the treadmill. Obviously, I'm not going in there. I'm not going into that class. So.
But it's discipline, so I don't actually mind that concept because the discipline starts by coming on.
We all respect. I've never been late.
We've all been turned away from yoga and meditation, and you only have to learn that lesson once, and you're never late again.
I have never been late since, and I'm almost moving my way up to the front of the class. So I'm trying really hard to be, the student pet or whatever it is, to make up for that one time she wiped me off. Anyway, guys, tonight our topic of discussion is, speaking of meditation, it's around meditation, but also, and we do talk a lot about meditation on this show because it's such a vital, I think it's such a vital part of our life and our daily practice that I think it's really important to continually discussing it. But we're also talking about hypnotherapy tonight, a fantastic topic. And Rebecca's going to take us through a lot of that tonight. We're going to probably just have a little bit of a back and forth, just getting to understand it. A lot of people don't really understand what hypnotherapy is and how valuable an asset and a tool it is for us. So guys, if you want to have a reading, before we move on with the readings tonight, please go to our website and call 1-900-990-990. Follow the prompts, leave your first name, your date of birth and specific questions. And a reminder too that all our products on the AAY desk are on our web store. So for that, also head over to www.allaboutyouz.com. Great. Let's get started, ladies. Are you ready to do some healing?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Rebecca, let's start with you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Straight off the bat, we have Stephanie. Okay. Stephanie is born on the 19th of the 4th, 1986. She asks, is my business going to be a success?
Okay. It's a very good question. Sorry, what was the date of birth again?
The 19th of the 4th, 1986.
And her name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie. I'm getting a very strong masculine, and it does feel like a grandfather energy around you. And again, it actually feels more connected to the father's side. And there's also a woman there, but it's connected to your mother's side as well. So, and again, it is like a grandparent energy there. And they're connecting in, and what they're showing me is, again, and I know it's always easier said than done, but there's, and we, you do need to consider very carefully choices and make very clear decisions. But there's a sense of having to step back a little bit from the anxiety, okay, and don't feed the indecision. You're kind of sitting there a little bit too long with something, and again, which is making you lack a little bit of confidence in yourself, because I actually feel usually you can make really good decisions, so it feels like you're a little bit overburdened at the moment, okay, which is fairly normal at this stage with where you're at and what you're going through. But it's like, breathe, feel your feet on the floor, take a moment. We can always afford to come back into the moment, it clears the mind. We can reconnect with our breath, feel our belly, and then get re-inspired, refocused, reinvigorated, and then suddenly the solution, the answer, the clarity that you want will come, or the feeling of certainty. So there's something about really trusting. And from running my own business for about 15 years and then supporting my ex-husband, and I used to help support him run the business. So I've run 2 businesses as such. Sometimes you can be in your business too much. You've got to take some time out for yourself. One of the most useful things to do is just go and have a walk. Put out what it is that you want and then go and have a little walk, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, just to break it up, okay? Otherwise, it's like a pressure cooker and the tension builds. I feel there that you are actually on the road to success. They're showing me a path to success, but you've got to master this, mindset at the moment and believe in yourself. And I know that's a little bit easier said than done, and I do practice that myself, but there's a feeling here that you're very good at what you do, but you're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed and stretched, okay? So it's just coming back to centre and refocusing. Definitely by the end of the year, you're going to feel like you've turned a corner. And in the first 3 months of next year, particularly by March, much it feels to me too, cash flow is a lot better as well. So, you know, have a look too at marketing as well. There's a lot more I could say, but it, you know, it is going to go well for you, but please just stay in your trust, okay? Thank you.
Great. And sometimes the simple things can be the hardest to commit to. It's taken me years to learn the value of just walking.
Yes.
Just, you know, because I live near Narrabeen Lake, I just go down to the lake, and it's become a practice now. I do it all the time, just take my dog down there, and some of the most fantastic days I've had in the last 12 months of my life have been sitting by that water, doing nothing.
I take myself down, excuse me, down to Freshwater Beach or around Manly or around the lagoon. So, and you know, and I'll set the intention what I want to do, and then I'll go for a walk and surrender it to the universe.
It just clears
the air, and suddenly you come home and it's like, oh my God, there's 3 appointments, or that email that you wanted a response from and you've been waiting for 10 days is in your inbox.
Because you've cleared the space for it.
Because you've actually cleared the space. You haven't filled it with stress, tension, doubt and anxiety.
And I'm a real go person, and getting sick last week and doing nothing, I came up with all these great creative ideas because I had a lot of time to just
But that's what happens in the downtime, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can actually dream. You can actually start to...
instead of being in that
exactly.
all the
You
time.
become very present. And I think when you're present, you can bring into your consciousness what your higher self wants more than when you're in
said,
anxiety.
Sheila.
Yeah, so well said. And that's what we are when we're kids.
Exactly.
Or sick
Being in the present, just being in the backyard, you know, doing nothing, just looking
Being
at
in the
you know,
moment.
Yeah.
We were
mucking around
talking
the
about that
backyard.
before, tapping into inner child and having a bit more fun and bringing
Yeah,
that
we were,
lightness.
weren't we? Yeah, exactly.
There's a
Some of the
presence in
best
that moment,
days,
yeah.
some of the best days to remember, just hanging in the backyard, playing with sticks and twigs. How cool is that?
Absolutely.
So simple. All right. Now, don't forget, guys, to definitely, if you want to have a reading, please call our hotline, 1900 990 990. And as I said before, we need you to follow the prompts. Leave your name, date of birth, your mobile phone number, most importantly, so that we can call you back, and your question. Thanks so much. Now, over to you, Sheila. We have Leslie.
Okay.
Leslie is born on the 4th of the 9th, 1968.
Okay.
It's been a tough few years with family and work.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find time for myself,
Yep.
but still be there for the family. There you go. That's such a common issue.
Yep.
Can you please suggest?
Okay. Suggest ways to be more with the family or
Well,
more...
I think it seems to me that she's struggling between
To
time
find the
for herself,
balance.
time for her
Okay,
family, because
sure.
she's so busy. Just what
Okay.
we were talking about.
Okay, so as I tune into you, Leslie, I get a woman who's had a career ambition, and I get you're very talented. So I feel like your ambition matches your talent. I think that the amount you've had to work hard, you've actually had benefits. You've been rewarded for your talent and your hard work. And what Spirit's showing me is there's a need for you, Leslie, to speak up a little bit more about what work means for you and why it's so important for you and for the family. They're showing me an energy around work where I feel like it will get easier by December, so I feel like it will taper. You don't have to worry about this intensity for a long time. There will be an ease, and I feel like there might be additional resources that come around your work for that reason. But I feel like with work, you make yourself small at home or around family out of guilt. That's what they're showing me. So you don't talk about it as much, and you don't want to celebrate your work as much in the fear that it's going to conflict with your family. But they're wanting me to show you can inspire your family with work. They're also telling me that your children are a bit more independent than you think, or that you let them be. So there might be a little bit of overcompensation for when you feel like you're not around and present with them. That's how you feel. There's a level of walking in the door and needing to do more for them. And then wanting me to ask you, Leslie, if you didn't work, would you still do the things you do for them? And you may not. So the guides are asking me to ask you how much of it is coming from a little bit of guilt or overcompensating, because the children, I think, are feeling that energy. And if you pull back a little bit, you'll be happier, and maybe the kids will too. The kids are really happy. I think when you're around, you're fun, and you really try and bring joy and fun in those moments. And I think you can find it a little bit taxing. But I will say, Spirit's showing me the kids and the family help you unwind after work. They actually help you shut off from work more than you think. So allow that to come in. Allow yourself to recognise you have this. A lot of women, they're saying to me, there are other women in your workforce or in your friendship groups that don't have the family you have and the work. So look at the benefits of having both next to each other. They complement more than non-complement. In terms of the energy around how you take care of yourself, they're wanting me to say to you, you're not going to get back your complete freedom or the things you used to do. And I think in your youth you were quite a party animal. They're showing me kind of you really enjoying a wine, and I really think you got really dressed up and you looked great when you were younger. I'm not saying you don't now, but they're showing me like a version of yourself you reminisce about. And then wanting me to say to you, getting that back now was not realistic, but you can take care of yourself by really small things. And they're showing me maybe a little bit how your mind works, Leslie. You might find the freedom to have a cup of coffee in the middle of the day, and then when it's over, they're saying you might just say, oh, all I had time was for a cup of coffee. But they're wanting me to tell you to work a little bit on your language, to say, I had a cup of coffee on my own and I got my own free time and I got to read a magazine. Wasn't that fantastic? There's a little bit around your language that you can work on, and about recognising when you do get a bit of time apart and what that really does mean for you. That will help your mental health. And then wanting me to say a little bit around time management in the middle of the days, a little bit around scheduling. You could block a bit more time for yourself. There's a little bit of, the first image I got was you running in and out, you're racing. So I feel like there's a little bit around time management. And if you're in a space, what more could you do? And if you're in that suburb or you're in that area, a little bit more planning out. I feel like you could benefit from looking at your calendar and going, that's that morning, that day, I'm going to have some time to myself. It sounds a little bit simple, but Spirit's telling me that's something you're not doing at the moment that you could do easily, which would give you a bit more time. I just feel like there's a third thing to bring through. I feel like you could benefit from the self-care about how you look. There's something around, I feel like that's the last thing you take care of. And back in the day, you might have coloured your hair, done nails, things like that. They're saying you may not be able to do it as often as you like, but just get it done. And it does give you that bit of confidence for yourself, and you're feeling great about yourself with the family. There's something I think you've let go a little bit around that. So connect back in with your physical, and that I feel like will really pay dividends for your mental health, they're saying. So all the best to you, Leslie. I know being a working mum must be incredibly demanding, and I think energetically they're showing me you do a fantastic job of it. So, and I feel like by the end of the year, it's definitely going to get easier for you, so hang in there.
It's so many times, you hear mothers say, as soon as I had that baby, guilt came with it.
Yeah.
It was born with the baby. Because you're weighing up. You start weighing up everything, your time at work, your time with the child, and your time socially. And there's only 24 hours in a day, and we sleep for quite a few of them. So I think that, once again goes back to what you were both saying for both ladies, was quite similar in that messaging. And even with the topic of discussion we've got tonight, I think that blends in with it as well, helping people to find that little bit of space and balance and how to deal with it all. Really lovely messages that came through for her.
Yeah, and I
it's
think
really interesting to listen to.
We remember an older version of ourselves.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nostalgia around that, isn't that? An older way we used to be, and the friendships and the life.
Or the sense of freedom that we feel that we
Definitely.
used to have.
Yeah.
And now we have more responsibilities, and we don't feel that we can, let our hair down as much these days.
And this lovely Leslie's from my era.
Oh.
And I can tell you, people from my era were party animals.
Yes, there was
We knew how to get dressed up. We made those heels as high as the girls wear them today, and we used to run in them because we'd be, running from nightclub to nightclub. So
I was having babies when everyone was all out dancing.
Oh,
and
were
drinking.
you?
Yeah, because I was their younger mother. So quite often it's like, my clients are a lot, particularly birthing, they've all, so yeah.
But I know my stepdaughter started having children quite young. She has 5 for her own, and she raised her husband's son. But she started very young. But I tell you what, she stayed really young with them.
That's what happens. Yeah.
They've got this really wonderful, playful energy, all of them together. All right, moving along. Rebecca, we have Jade. Okay, now, Jade's born in 1994, my son's birth year, the 12th of the 5th, little Taurus. She says, time and time again, I seem to draw myself to people who use me for my compassion when they're in trouble. I help these people, but it's getting draining, especially seeing as I don't like to say no when they come to see me.
It's Jade, is it? Okay, so Jay.
Oh, and sorry, I hate to interrupt. I missed a part here which she said that they don't listen to her good advice either, so they're not taking the advice.
Welcome to my world. Where they pay you money and then they might not follow.
We don't really hear until we're ready to hear or make the change,
I'll
right?
tell you.
I'll tell you again.
I'll tell you. Yeah. How many sessions?
Just
have you
push
paid
the
me for?
recording. Come on, I gave it to you. All you have to do is play that back.
Sweetheart, what in instantly connecting with you, and you've got this wonderful, you've got a beautiful soul, and a part of your soul energy is you're very much an empath. Okay, so you're going to feel and sense and intuit into situations and into people, and you're a helper. You want to help. Be very careful, and this is something I've been looking at too of recent times in myself and a lot of my clients who are also very, high functioning, overperforming, overcommitted people, and that's the saviour complex. Okay, so in wanting to help people, you've got to also remember that there's a little part of your ego there, because that you're identifying with that. That's actually making you feel good, So we're not always being so selfless. Okay, so and you're already clocking it, you're already aware that, they're not listening to you, they're not taking that advice, and that you can't say no. So now what you need to do is go, right, I need to shift this a little bit, Be aware that I have an issue with an inability to say no, and start to have a look and create some boundaries there and start practicing saying no. I've been an empath my whole life, and saying no. I'm 46 and I still have to practice some days at saying no, but I'm a lot better at it, and it's a very powerful thing, because when we start to say no to toxic situations, things we don't like, appreciate, we're starting to actually invite the very things and experiences that are good for us, that are healthy for us, that we want more of. So why keep giving to those that don't appreciate it? It's actually you disrespecting yourself, okay, in a way, all right? That sounds harsh, but that's actually the truth, So respect yourself enough to go, okay, no, I'm not going to accept that anymore. If they're not listening, you've got to let go and allow them, to get there in their own time. And I know you can probably see the truth, and I know you can see the way. And sometimes, you can see the truth and they're not quite there yet, but you've got to learn also restraint. There's a lot of people, even in the industry, they feel it's okay to just go up and give a download without anyone asking, is that okay? It's so disrespectful. You're actually projecting that into someone's personal space. So being mindful around boundaries is so important for all of us, okay? It actually develops and cultivates self-love, respect, the capacity to truly listen, connect and communicate, okay? And you're an empath, so you're going to want to create and nurture depth and real soul connection. You're not going to like small talk. So again, just go, right, Spirit, I welcome in people that I can truly, deeply, authentically connect with, and who are available to, take on board what it is I have to offer, and let go of all those other people, sweetheart. And the Taurian in you, my son's a Taurus, my nan, God bless her, is a Taurus, and he's the same age as you as well. That year, you're all quite sensitive. There's a lot of labels for you all, from indigos to crystals to, all sorts of things. But, what I'm seeing in you is just this diplomatic empath, So have a look at that, research about that, and you'll get a lot of information about how you are and how you actually relate to people. And there's a lot of information online too, and help you to create those boundaries. And hypnotherapy, which we'll be talking about later, is also a very powerful way to empower yourself to create new boundaries and confidently accept and embrace, your strengths without needing other people to validate you as well. You've got a lot to give, darling, so please don't. What's that expression I'm getting? Thank you. I'm getting spirits showing me pearls and a pig. No pearls before swine.
Yeah, don't throw your pearls
Don't
before
throw your
swine.
pearls before swine. Yeah. There you go, sweetheart. You're just so beautiful. It was lovely to read you, and I'm sorry you're struggling. but a lot of us have with that one, so you have been in good company.
That's
Thank
beautiful. I know a lot of kids that were born in 1994 because it's my son's birth year.
Same.
And, you know, watching them growing up, sitting around out on their balcony on a Saturday night talking about world issues, how to change the world,
They're
what's
so
wrong with the
passionate.
government, how can we get rid of GMO foods, and how can we? And you know, half of those kids went on to study psychology because they're interested in it. So you're right about that.
They want to make a
crop.
difference.
Yeah, and sensitivity.
They're
These
so sensitive.
sort of tall guys, my son's mates, that are all good-looking guys, but they're talking about their feelings. God, it's good.
That's wonderful.
It's so good to watch.
Refreshing.
So
It's
beautiful.
refreshing.
And I mean, you're right. Sometimes it's good just to, like they say in Buddhism, just step away.
Yeah.
You know, because some people don't want to be helped. They just want to. They just want to offload.
Well, they want what I call the fairy dust. They want all your positive energy. They want your good vibes. So they'll take that from you, but they don't really want you. And a lot of toxic people, or people that are struggling themselves, they can tell in a way at a unconscious level that you've got some strength in there that they don't have. And so that's often the attraction, the subtle attraction and the hook. You know, so
I love that term, fairy dust.
Yeah, that's how I see it. It's like gold dust. They're taking the gold dust out of the soul. Yeah. So it's really important to protect yourself, which often is about, if you respect yourself, then, you know, you're going to have good boundaries with people. So they can't walk all over you.
I think boundaries is such a big one. It's so complicated because it's so tied into societal beliefs that if we do boundaries, we're selfish. I think that's so fundamentally in our society, Western civilization especially. And people think they're bad if they don't do what people want them to do, or they're letting them down or hurting them or offending them. It's just a really big one. I just, you know, I'm still trying to learn boundaries. It's crazy. Okay, so let's move along. Sheila, we have Natalie.
Okay.
Another young soul.
Yeah.
13th of the 5th, 1991.
Okay.
Can you give me some advice? I'd like to start my own business, but I'm not getting support from my partner. We're not married, but we plan to next year. He's not sure if I should go into business as the setup costs are huge, which is, and that's scary too. We're saving for a house.
Okay.
What's your suggestion? So I can see both sides of it.
Absolutely.
Totally.
I feel like, they've just already shown me the wedding. I feel like the wedding's going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't know if you've got a dog around you, or I feel there's an animal around in spirit, or there's an animal that might be there on the day. So they've just shown me a really fun day, and don't worry about the weather. It's going to be a really bright, sunny day. I'm just tuning into the energy of the wedding there, Natalie. Spirit's telling me this interesting is the first little test for you guys as a couple. That's what's coming through. When I tune into the energy of the business, I don't know if you're in a beautician or you're in a hairdressing, but I feel like that's where the setup cost is coming from. There's a little, I feel there's something around one piece of equipment that might cost a little bit more. And there is a need for you love what you do, and this you feel like is the next step for you to express yourself in your career. But more than the business, Spirit's showing me that this is the first test for you as a couple that's about to get married and have a beautiful long journey together. And it's important for you how you navigate this with your husband. And they're saying that this is a nice exercise for you guys to chat about what the need is around here for you to have a business, and what his need is around to save for a house. And I feel like you've discussed some plans, but I feel like a 3 to 5 year plan is needed to be discussed financially around children. I feel like if a bigger picture opens up for both of you, this might make both a bit more sense to both of you. So the dialogue's needed. I feel like he shuts down quite quickly when you speak to him now about it. So they're wanting me to tell you to take him into a different space and to approach it differently. And I feel like they're showing me you need to, and this is going to be growth for you, Natalie, as you go through this process. You need to also show him that you can understand the pros and cons of going into business and investing. It's like this man needs to see that from you, and you have the capacity to hold the space around the financial conversation, and you need to demonstrate to him that you understand what the cons are of a financial outlay in what you're asking, and demonstrate to him some language around the risks around that. And I feel like if you do, he still may not come around instantly, but you're going to start a dialogue where he can come around to what you want. I'm just getting the word lease, so I don't know if you're wanting to own the equipment or whatever you need, but can you release it up front? They're wanting me to say, how can you demonstrate, you want to spend this much money, how can you spend 3/4 or half? And then at the end of the first year, when the business plan is as you expect, you invest a bit more. I'm being shown that. I'm being shown interest. I feel like you're going to take a loan. I don't think you're going to buy this outright. And I feel like you're going to be successful in this because you're going to work really hard. And I think I just got that. He's a little bit worried that this business is going to take you away from him. That's what I just got then. You're going to be so busy, doing this work with clients. And I think you're very charismatic. And I feel like, when you give with what you do with your work, it's like you might stay back a little bit more because someone's held you back a little bit longer. He's worried he's not going to see you. So there's a need of reassuring him, okay, I might be busy for 3 or 4 months, but let's have a holiday, or let's, what do you like to do? So this isn't just about buying the business, investing or not. There seems to be many elements. And Spirit again's wanting me to remind you, this is the first of many conversations you're going to have in your marriage around negotiation and understanding what you want and compromising where you feel you can and compromising with him. This is the first of many. So look at this like it's an invitation to explore a different way to be in your marriage, especially considering you're getting married next year. It's like you could explore a deeper love and a deeper understanding of what you want and what he wants in this moment. So the outcome of this, be less attached to it and look at it as a journey as to how can we understand this a bit more together. That's the overarching, that's sort of the bigger picture. I feel like you will go into business on, if not on your own, you'll collaborate with somebody. And I feel like once you start the dialogue in a healthy way, you're going to have a bigger conversation where more ideas flourish versus yes or no. So you'll see that happen. You'll take the road you need to once you're on your way to having the conversation in the way you need to with your husband. So best of luck, Natalie. And best of luck with the wedding and planning. How exciting.
On a sunny day.
On a sunny day.
Fun. Maybe they'll take the dog along.
I feel like it's going to be a really fun wedding. I feel like the bridesmaids are going to be fun. They're fun group of girls.
Fun girls.
Fun girls, that's what I got. So.
Yes, I've had chance to be fun 6 times I've been a bridesmaid.
Have you?
Yeah, until I worked out it's because I do everyone's makeup. We'll throw Viv on she'll be the last bridesmaid. We'll make her, 'cause you can do everyone's hair and makeup while you're at it. Sure, I can do everyone's hair and makeup, so I'm always the one running up the aisle at the last, looking like I've just thrown myself together because I'm too busy worrying about everybody else's hair and makeup and powdering and God knows what. Anyway, okay, so before we move on with our topic of discussion tonight, which I'm really excited about this one, I love talking about hypnotherapy. We just want to let you know that All About You are going to be at the CPC Expo coming up August 25th to 27th down in Canberra. Now we're going to have the beautiful Sammy Bunting and Linda Usop are going to be down there along with myself and Marg. We'll be attending down there for 3 days. We're going to be having a stall down there, so please come and see us. Go on our website if you want to purchase some tickets and come and see and chat to Sammy Bunting. She'll have you laughing within 30 seconds and it's just going to be a wonderful experience. And kids under 12 are free. Please also go to the expos.com.au site to get some more information about it. And there's booking on, you can do all the bookings on our website. And just pop over to booth C11 and say hi to our All About You family. All right, excellent. So let's get on to the topic of discussion now. I am really fascinated with the topic of hypnotherapy. I've done meditation, I've booked courses, like I've said, not gone to them, but I do quite a lot of meditation in my own way.
Yeah.
Years ago, I did study the practice of Buddhism for quite some years, and I did a lot of meditation during that time. So I really intrinsically understand the benefits of meditation. Hypnotherapy, I think, is more of a fringe kind of topic for some people. It's
Definitely.
almost like, is that woo-woo? Is it medical? Is it science? So just give us a kind of like a little outline on what you think or what you know through your practice that it is.
Well, for me, I've been using and working with hypnotherapy for 15 years now as a doula. and then also in my private practice. So I guess what I'd be called is a psychic therapist, for want of a better word. That's what a lot of people say. I actually get a lot of counsellors and psychologists coming to see me as well. And what I find is that hypnosis, the practice of it, and I've also worked with it in medical environments, and again, there are a lot of scientific studies done on hypnosis, and they've proven the benefits. Okay, so science is actually looking at it, as a modality, as a way to heal people, as a way to shift consciousness, in a positive, effective way. Also to hypnosis bypasses the critical mind, so, which is just so vital. And in order to actually surrender, in order to let go of false beliefs, negative beliefs, and to feel empowered and confident, so many people, they're trying to do it in their heads, they're trying to get the thinking right, but the nature of our conscious mind is it's going to think, it's going to analyse, that's its nature. So when you go and see a hypnotherapist, you're trying to get out of the same thinking patterns. You're tired of feeling the same despondent, apathy, depression. You're tired of feeling anxious. A lot of people are really tired and over it. A lot of people come to me when they've tried everything else. They've tried all the counsellors. They've gone through everything. And what I find is that, the more relaxed you are, the more you're able to let go and access these deeper states of consciousness, going into the subconscious, which is the storehouse of our beliefs, and it's where we go to reprogram negative beliefs. There's a whole fascinating, it's even bigger than that. The realm of the subconscious for me, it's the birthplace of archetypal energies, it's the birthplace of source.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. It taps into the unconscious, which we're still trying to work out. And science is still trying to understand the nature of the mind. But what they do understand is that it does actually help bypass the critical mind. So therefore, it's a very effective modality in changing belief systems that are no longer valid or working.
My own personal experience was that I went to see a fabulous clinical hypnotherapist, Michael Haber, down in Wollongong. He runs a practice down there, and I actually went to see him just before we started with this show because I was so nervous around being on set and presenting. So when I went down to see him, he said, what would you like to work with? And I said, confidence. I need the confidence to be able to sit in front of a camera and, do all the things that we have to do, read scripts, listen to Marg, carry on. And so we did some work, and he explained a lot to me about the process of this, what you're talking about, the subconscious, and how, by a certain number of years of age, it's so much of it's set. And you can go and you can talk to a counsellor, and you can sit down there and you can go week in and week out and week in and week out, and you might not achieve the benefits because you're still being driven. Your conscious mind is being driven by your unconscious mind. So if somebody says something, it triggers you. You don't even really have control over that trigger because it's coming from so far down. So you're actually accessing or pushing that conscious mind out of the way so that we can get down to the actual stuff. And you were saying to me before in the green room, Rebecca, you talk about it sort of first and foremost, is that correct, that you kind of have to start unpacking some of the stuff?
You do. You've got to unpack sometimes in order to be able to reprogram and actually move yourself in the direction that you intuitively inside know where you want to be.
Yeah.
And
I really do believe that helped me access the confidence to do this. And not just in this, it helped me in so many other areas.
That's what happens. People come and work on one area and then they find they're more confident in other areas.
The big shifts happen, don't they?
Massive shifts happen at that level.
Because
every time you go, when you're in therapy, and I've had a lot of therapy in my life, I've been sitting in the chair as well, receiving as well as giving. And sometimes, again, when everyone's just talking, and it just keeps reinforcing the same thing again and again and again. So whereas when you're under hypnosis, you're becoming deeply relaxed, you're starting to let go, you're learning actually how to physically release. Then you get an experience of emotional letting go. So then you go, oh my, I don't feel anxious. Oh, I feel good. I feel happy. you know, and then the hypnotist helps, you know, reinforces those beliefs for you. And then in spite of yourself over, you know, a period of days, weeks, months, you know, then all of a sudden you're happy and confident and not even thinking those thoughts. And you don't actually have to do anything about that.
And you can't remember when you had the negative thoughts.
And you can't remember.
You can't remember. I've similar like you, Beck. I've been in the therapy chair quite a few times, and because on the spiritual, on the spiritual path, you have to clear your own stuff to hold space for others. That's part of the deal.
Can't do it otherwise.
But the negative thoughts we have in this life are deep grooves, not just from this life. I mean, I really believe that. You know,
so we bring them with us.
We bring them with us. The ancestral traumas, experiences, memories. And like you're saying, Beck, you know, you've had clients that have come over and over. They've tried so many things and they're even baffled. I've tried everything. It's that level of frustration. And the journey's taken them to find, you know, a talented hypnotherapist like yourself to hold space. You've done work on yourself. You can hold space. So, and then the shift happens and you know it's gone into a deep place where you don't even know how it's happened. And you can't remember, and you're just relieved the shifts happen. I mean, that's been my experience.
That's exactly what it was for me. I didn't know how it unpacked or how things changed, but I knew after that I wanted to go back and keep seeing Michael, because then I was like, I want to sleep. Can we work on that now?
Yeah.
You know,
there's no end to how much you can work on with hypnosis. I love it. There's always another. I think so long as I've got a body, there's a layer of something to work through, because we can all be in a state of zen, and then you walk outside and then there's, you know, the bus runs through a puddle and then you're all wet and then you've got to, okay, off I go again, you know. It's life.
But I also love what you were saying too, Sheila, about we bring a lot of this stuff in from past lives. And I think that's really, that can be quite devastating for people when they think, why do I just keep doing or feeling the same thing over and over and over again when I've done this and I've done that and I've actioned things in my life to change these thoughts, fears, habits, or whatever, and they just keep happening, you know. I just remember, you know, reading, I don't know, one of the books years ago about past lives and children that experience, you know, spontaneously, they might say as a child, oh, I remember when I was a fighter pilot in the Second World War, and they might be 2 years old or whatever, and they might have a host of, you know, experiences from that past life that they've brought into this life. And then when they're older, they might be trying to deal with all sorts of issues that might be related to that. And somebody that's working on a cognitive level as a traditional therapist has got no hope of getting to those bases and places.
Access those things.
Absolutely. I think it's two things. I think it's your past life, and then it's the ancestral line, which is connected to your past life, but there's two probably aspects. Your own.
Can you just explain that a little bit to me?
I agree.
Yeah, I think, you know, your own past life is your own unique journey of your soul reincarnating, if there's a belief set out there that you align with, reincarnating, having experiences, evolving, continually learning and growing and experiencing. The ancestral line, you can have souls that reincarnate together, and as a collective group of souls, the ancestral, you can have these collective experiences together. And you tend to. You know, the family you incarnate with, you tend to, you probably, you know, there's a good chance you've had several lives together and you're working through things together. That's your biological soul family. And I think it's worth thinking about exploring both lines. As my parents migrated to Sydney in the 70s, and, you know, for migrant, any family that's been disconnected from where you're born and where family's raised, you might lose knowledge about what the family went through. Sometimes that's if you have family secrets where people don't talk about things. I think it's important to delve into the ancestry of the family, and not, you know, not just that, just what happened, what were the marriages like, what was life like, what were the big events. And people don't ask these kinds of questions, and I think you end up finding the things that consistent themes might emerge in your family, consistent decisions, consistent experiences, both positive and negative, and when you know your lineage, you can understand your life, because that's where you come from. Not on a physical level, also on a soul level. And I think, you know, through hypnotherapy, you probably... you'd be...
totally.
Do you find that the ancestral side of it is often family, or is it family and friends, or family and people that you're just dealing with in your life that you go through
It can be absolutely family and friends. You know, you're going to have friends that feel like family, that soulmate, you know, karmic
And you
connection.
often feel that connection when you first meet somebody, don't you?
You do, you do.
Yeah, like I feel with you.
Yeah, no. We're sisters in another life.
We're sisters with very, very different hair colour.
No difference.
There's no difference. It's all the same at a cellular level.
My son, Harry, when he was 11, we were on the beach and he said, Mummy, he said, you know, he said, we take the people that we love with us in our hearts when we die, don't we? And he said, and then when we're born again, we remember them. And he said that at 11, so it's pretty profound. He knew.
How old was he when he said that?
11.
Gosh.
And then Gabs, my other daughter, when I was actually going through divorce, so and she said, you know the reason why you're divorcing Dad? And I said, because my children are very psychic or fey, you know, they're tenfold me. Trying to raise them, I think they educated me on many levels. But she said, you know why that you've left Dad? And I said, why, darling? I wanted her true version. She was 7. And she said, because he put you to death in a past life. He said he wasn't your husband in that life. He was like this other character. And she said, but I was actually your daughter. And and that's why you've left him now. And he didn't like what you were doing, so he put you to death. And it was so profound because I'd had memories, but she'd actually picked up on that. Yeah. And then there was another little one, a friend of James's, my youngest, and I think he was about 4, and he would say to his mum, Mummy, when I was in my other skin, I was this and you were that. So they do. Children are just out of the mouths of babes.
My former husband's 2 daughters, when they were quite little, they were walking through the park and they went over a little bridge, and Vanessa pushed Crystal into the water, and Des said, pulled her out of the water. She was screaming and crying. She was about 2, and she said, why did you do that to your sister? And she said, because before we were born, she pushed me out of the way, and she came first, and she made me have to wait. So that's why I pushed her in the water. Oh, it was like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good memory, isn't it?
It's a really good memory. She pushed me out of the way, so now I'm pushing her in the water.
So
all right,
funny.
well, that's a great topic. We can talk about that forever, and I'm sure we'll bring it back into the topic of discussion again. And also Michael's very generously offered to come all the way from Wollongong to come and visit us one night and talk a little bit about his work as well, because he's just such a healer. And I think with you knowing with it, it's a very specific modality, and there's got to be a lot of trust.
You do need to give,
and I definitely felt that with Michael, just that complete, to get to a stage where I honestly can completely let go and feel like I was just falling asleep, or in that deeper state.
You're not really asleep, but you're in a deeper state of awareness.
Deeper state of awareness.
All
right, so we're going to move back over to you, Rebecca. We've got Veronica. Veronica is born on the 8th of the 8th. Steve would have fun with that. 1991.
8th of the 8th, 1991, okay.
It's a new moon, the 8th of the 8th. My mum and dad are concerned about my partner, who's been married before, and they worry for me. He has a child from his previous marriage. How can I assure them that everything will be fine?
There's a feeling, also being a parent, sometimes there's nothing you can do to assure us. I've got 4 children. My youngest is 17 and my eldest is 25, you know. So, and there are times when we're just going to worry, and as the child, guess what? You actually have to deal with that, okay? That's the energy that I'm feeling, okay? So, and once you accept that in a way that they're going to have, because they do care about you, and you don't necessarily have to prove yourself to them. Don't waste your energy proving everything to them. It's going to take a bit of time for them to feel comfortable, okay? And that's again, it's not necessarily an outright judgment of your partner. I just feel, again, a little bit of this mother energy, or the possessive kind of energy, you know, where they, and sometimes as parents, you know, they don't, and I'm very mindful of my boundaries, but I've certainly overstepped some boundaries with my children that I've had to apologise for as well. But there's this sense there of, you know, you love this man. I'm not getting any big red flags from spirit around your relationship. So long as you commit to that with your heart, You know, you commit to that. You commit to each other and step it back from your family. I mean, that in a way isn't that what marriage is about? It's about leaving that unit and becoming, you know, that yourself. So, and that's also a bit of the panic there, and they do want what's best for you, and everything is going to turn out, you know, in accordance with how it's meant to. It does feel here that you're walking your path, and that you're, you know, your values with this man are quite congruent, is what they're showing me. So despite the fact that, you know, he has had a divorce, that doesn't, and again, I've been divorced. I know a lot of people that are divorced. That doesn't make everybody dysfunctional because you're divorced. Sometimes it's because one of them was a communicator and the other one wasn't. So they want someone to actually now have effective communication and actually enjoy an effective relationship, okay? So, and I feel there with this person, he's not taking advantage of you. I feel that, you know, again, there's going to be a lot of opportunity here for you two to grow together. So please, as I say to a lot of my clients, don't let others in here. I know that you're the girl, and there's a big part of every, you know, woman, we're the girl. We want to make sure that we're pleasing people. But right now, you've got to be the woman and the adult. So, you know, recognise that you're having a bit of a growing pain with your parents, and that's actually okay. Give them permission not to like where you're at the moment, or to feel uncomfortable, and then get on the horse with you, okay? I just feel there's no point in arguing over this, because you're not going to get anywhere with it, okay? I'm getting a 3, so smaller term, shorter term cycle around 3 months. Things are feeling a little bit more settled, but that's more about you guys finding your own rhythm with you. I feel that they're going to go ahead, you know, everything will go ahead as planned. So in a way, you don't want to continually listen to the negative kind of voice. You know, my poor mum didn't want me to get married. Hi, Mum, if you're watching. I did it anyway, but I mean, her gut was actually right, so I should have listened. But what I find here is that, you know, your gut's actually right, darling. I was far too young to get married. But, you know, your gut's actually, you know, right here, and your heart is aligned with this man. And I'm just getting a sense of, don't let the negative voices, you know, eat away at this relationship, which can actually be, you know, lifelong, sustain you, and you'll grow together, you know, despite any grievances, because you feel very compatible. And I do feel a child there for the two of you as well, okay? Lots of love. Thanks.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Divorce is no longer, you know, the tard with the bad paintbrush.
Oh, exactly. I'm so overhearing it.
It's opportunity. After divorce, a lot of people grow. I mean, a lot of people it's a pathway to become, you know, much more deeper.
Nothing like I was in my first marriage.
Yeah.
No, maybe I'll get it right by my 4th.
The only way's up.
Only ways up, exactly.
Elizabeth Taylor, here I come. Exactly. Okay, Sheila, we have Corrine.
Okay.
She's born on the 4th of the 7th, 1998. My business has been going really well. Isn't that good?
Yeah.
But it's online, and she would like to open an outlet. She's just a little bit concerned about the costs of renting a shop.
Okay.
What is your advice?
Okay, Corrine, when I feel into your energy, I feel like you're telling me you're a real ideas lady, and that's okay. That's why that's important. Okay, so I think that the road to going down and opening a physical shop, I feel like for you is a measure of success. So they're wanting me to ask you, is it a measure of success, or is it financially going to reward you and give you the freedom you're after? I feel like they're telling me there's a need for you to collaborate. I do see a need for you to have a space, because this could be the next level for you. But I feel like the commitment of an outright space can produce a little bit of stress if you go into quite a large financial commitment quite quickly. And I think it will reap some financial rewards for you. I don't see any alarms or concerns financially around that. But what I do see is a little bit of stymieing of your creative energy, because suddenly I feel like you're going to have to hire someone. They're showing me like you're going to have to hire a resource, and you're going to have to manage somebody, and you're going to need someone to have the same passion around the business as you do. So this is a growth spurt for your business, but it's how can you grow the business, Corinne, they're asking, how can you grow but still remain in control of, you know, the product to the customer? I feel like you might lose a little bit about that if you grow too quickly. And how can you keep on still creatively evolving? Because I feel like if you just hire a space, they keep on saying space, so it's like not owning and not entirely owning a space. It's sharing a space with somebody. It feels like this is a staged approach, not an outright leap. And I feel like there are trusted people around you. I'm getting a father or a father figure around that can offer some really good advice and will come and see the space with you. And I feel like if you're not using this person enough, it could be like a father or an uncle, there is an older man around you that you have used, but they're asking me for you to get vulnerable and really say, this is something I'm really worried about. And the reason why I'm being shown an older person, because it's bricks and mortar. You know the online stuff, okay? And I feel like this older person around you doesn't really understand the online. They don't understand, you know, e-commerce and what you do. They don't even understand how you make money from it. But with the bricks and mortar that you're trying to go into, they will understand that, and they're going to point out parking, and they're going to point out things that you may not quite see as quickly as they would. So I'm being guided to tell you there is someone around you a bit older that can help you with that. I feel like there's a need for you to have some fun in your life. I know this isn't about the business, but I feel like there's a holiday around the corner for you, or you need to take a holiday. I feel like the next 3 years, I feel like you're always going to have bigger and better ideas. So this is the beginning of even in the next 3 years. I think you've come off a 2-3 year cycle. You're about to go into a new one. And there's a need for some sort of holiday or lightness. And I'm seeing Thailand or palm trees. So I feel like if you haven't already booked it, I'm being guided to you to look into a holiday, because you do need to recharge, because I feel like from September onwards there's another surge of activity and weekends, and you're the kind of woman that will really just put all the energy into something. You do have enough time for balance. You've got a lot of energy. You can work very hard, and it doesn't seem to impact your social life or your personal life that much. So that's a really great quality. They wanted me to congratulate you on that, and just also recognise this is a quality you have, not all of us have. So take the holiday, have a staged approach, use a space. I'm seeing a corner. I'm seeing you on a corner street with 2 windows. And I feel like it's in collaborating with people you can joint market. They're doing joint marketing is what they're showing me as well. So I hope that's a good amount of guidance for you for the next steps. And I feel like for you, Corinne, I think doors open. Once you put your foot forward, doors will open. So just be quite open-minded about what this looks like, the physical aspect of your business. Ask a lot of questions they wanted me to tell you, and seek the guidance of someone older is quite important. So all the best to you.
It's great. I mean, sometimes it's great to get 2 generations to come together to get the best out of both.
Yeah.
And also, you know, there's lots of different ways to have a physical space now. Sharing space, pop-up stores, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people come in and just try something, see if their product's going to work. So anyway, lovely readings tonight, ladies. Lots of really great advice.
Yeah. Thank you.
My first cough for the night. Better than last week, isn't it? Mitchell Coombs is going to be joining AAY on August the 14th, Monday, August the 14th. And he has some exciting news for us AAY viewers. So if you'd like a reading with Mitchell on August 14th, get your questions in, follow the prompts. Okay, it's going to be very exciting. I need you guys to close the shop, because I'm going to actually have a coughing fit. Apologies, I've still got it. Next week, we've got Sammy Bunting, Linda Usop, and you're going to be back as well.
There we go.
Oh, excellent. So if you would like to get some readings, get in now, 1900 990 990. Leave the details, name, date of birth, and your mobile phone number with your specific question. See you all next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.